Good morning. I am Muriel Bowser. I am here with members of our administration, and we just briefed the council on several important items to the District of Columbia. Chief among them, how we close DC General. We're grateful to the council for supporting changes to the law in the fall that will allow us to close DC General, and we have promised to submit a citywide strategy, an all 8 ward strategy to replace DC General units across the city. We've worked with members of the council over the last several weeks. We've briefed them entirely on the plan this morning, and we specifically laid out each location. This Thursday, many of the council members, before I get to that, participated in small group meetings in the communities for the selected sites. And this Thursday, we will speak to communities directly about the plans. We will also submit to the council a piece of overarching legislation that lays out the various approvals that the council will have to make. And if all goes according to plan and we're able to secure these sites, we think that we can begin construction through 2017 and 18 and close DC General in the fall of 2018. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Maybe you call this your effort to end homelessness in the city. Is there really this kind of shifting homelessness?
No, not at all. And so what we talked about was how we're focused in this presentation on family homelessness and how we have a better system for dealing with it. And what we have all agreed and has been well chronicled by all of you, the deficiencies at DC General, a former hospital that was not meant to properly service families and get them on the pathway to permanent housing. We think that smaller, dignified housing with the appropriate wraparound services will launch people into sustainable housing. Now, this, of course, is one part of our strategy. We're also focused on how do we prevent people from getting in the system in the first place, and how we invest in affordable housing so that once people have housing first and have stabilized many parts of their lives, they can move into permanent housing. Yes.
I just texted somebody that I know that lives close to one of these shelters. If you know anything about it, is there any community involvement before you did this? That's our question. Did you talk to neighbors, and then the neighbors have a chance of maybe making you change your mind and change the other side? Are you still listening to them, or is your mind?
Well, the sites are going to go in somebody's neighborhood, right? So if you tell me this neighbor doesn't want it, move it to the next neighbor, then the next neighbor is going to have the same complaint, would they not? So what we have decided as a community is that we can do better by families that need a break. They need a safe place to get their lives in order and on their way to permanent housing. What our Department of Human Services, along with our Department of General Services, has been able to do is identify things that are really important to get families a fresh start, but also ways that these short-term housing facilities will fit into neighborhoods. What we're very proud of, and you heard from the council members, is that we have come up with great concepts. The buildings will fit into the communities, going to have a high level of architecture and landscaping, and most importantly, what you heard from the council members is they will have the type of services that allow people to get on their way. So we're starting the conversations with neighborhoods. As I mentioned, we had a small group meeting yesterday, and we will have this Thursday the first discussion, and we think the follow-up discussion will be about design and how the buildings fit in. We've also been talking about our plan to make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring for almost an entire year. And people all over DC have signed on to say, you're right about this. A city as prosperous as ours must make these investments, must change the system. People talk to us about ending homelessness, but they don't want anything to change in some cases. But most people do. They recognize we can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. Over 10,000 people have signed our pledge to end homelessness in Washington, D.C. So I'm looking forward to having a conversation with your friend. I'm looking forward to him or she or he being able to see the plans, how the buildings will fit in, and learning about what programs will be there to support our neighbors.
What is defined as short-term housing?
What is defined? It is a place where our law, as you know, requires in hypothermia season that a person who is eligible for homeless services be housed. And in our city, for families, they're required to have private rooms. So this is what these facilities are. The law that the council worked with us on in the fall also has specific requirements around size and play areas and bathrooms and the like.
So how long will the families be able to be in these short-term housing facilities?
I'll let Laura talk to the specifics of what our typical experience is and what we expect with our new system.
So today we have a system that needs a lot of fixing, and so our lengths of stay are longer than we'd like. 140 days or so for families who are experiencing homelessness in our programs. There's a whole lot of work that the mayor talked about that we're doing to repair that system across a whole lot of different areas, both how people come in and also how we support them to access the housing supports and affordable housing to be able to exit homelessness. We have Homeward DC, which is our strategic plan that models how we get our lengths of stay down to be able to operate a program within the inventory size of what we've laid out. And over 5 years, we hope and expect that our length of stay for families will be between 60 and 90 days.
Yes.
Mr. Bowser, you're
Yes.
setting this up to be one of the major accomplishments of your first term. You're able to close this bill by fall of 2017, as you announced you intend to do. Is there any concern that you're setting yourself up to fail here because homelessness is, of course, such a historically stubborn problem?
I'm not sure if you're suggesting that I shouldn't try to do something big and hard because we might not be able to accomplish it. Is that your question? It sounded like it. And my answer is we must do things that are big and hard because that's the values of our city. Those are our city's values, that we do better by homeless families.
How realistic do you think the September 2018, excuse me?
I think it's realistic as long as this package moves together. This package doesn't move together, it puts all of our timelines at risk.
So Mayor, can you change locations? I noticed, for example, Councilmember McDuffie didn't seem to like the location that you had picked in Ward 5 and suggested, I don't know what he suggested, but
We didn't
nevertheless.
suggest another location, I can tell you that.
What do you say there? Are these possibly changing?
Well, I say if we had we're going to have questions about all the locations, and we're prepared to, and, people are right to ask us questions, and that's why we want to go and answer the questions. But you didn't note that I think all 13 council members were there. And the consensus among the council members was even surprising to me. And I'm grateful for that. And it reflects the hard work that these folks behind me have done for months in getting this plan right. So when I can come out of a council meeting and have that many council members applaud the work, applaud the plan, look at it and say, we see how it's different from the fits and starts that the government has had before, all recognizing that it's a big lift, but a necessary lift.
I don't think you answered, Sam, and I asked you the first time. Is this set in stone? Do you think if a neighborhood rises up, they really don't want it there, is your mind made up at this point, it's going to be there?
We're sending a package to the council, and there will be approvals required. I wouldn't put something in front of a neighborhood that wasn't well thought out and that balanced the needs for homeless neighbors and the community. I wouldn't do that.
One more question. Go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to ask a question about snow, so go ahead. If you.
Is this snowing?
I've been going to ask you about that. I know you had a big effort yesterday.
Why didn't you close the schools?
Along with DC General being closed, what about the hotels? Is this also going to help the hotel situation too once all of these shelters are open? Could you speak to that a little bit?
Yes,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
going. It's meant to help it all. Not just opening these facilities, but working on the changes that we need to the program. Period. We have a lot of people seeking shelter, and there is a number of things that are outlined in the Homeward DC plan that will help improve our system, and that is to deal with people who are having emergencies, but make sure they're getting the services and they're getting on a pathway to getting affordable housing.
You projected a date for closing DC General. Can you project a date when you think all families would be out of hotels, that you would no longer need to rely on hotels?
No, I can't.
And my snow question, I mean, I noticed yesterday there was a lot of effort for that, and I haven't been near a window, but I haven't seen any snow. What do you think?
What about preparing for
Yes, sir.
forecasted winter weather? My thoughts are we're going to do it every time. Yep. Anything else? Thank you, guys. Yep.
The chairman proposed scaling back the paid leave proposal to 12 weeks of leave and a cap of $1,500 per week. Is that something you think you could support?
I have no idea. Until the chief financial officer certifies it as viable, we will reserve our comments. I did ask the chairman some pretty particular questions about when do they expect, if he's voting on this in a couple of months, what is he telling the public in terms of when it's going to be available? This is a significant program that so far the legislation models it on unemployment insurance. In unemployment insurance, we have a system where 220 employees operate that in the District of Columbia. We think that in a universal paid leave, many more people will qualify for the benefit. So that's part of what the CFO has to estimate, along with what it will take to put up an IT system that will support it. And you heard the CFO talk about what it's going to take in order to be certifiable. The chairman also said that in what he circulated, I'm not sure what he called it. He called it a discussion draft. So I don't even know if that's what the final product from the council is going to be. Bottom line for us is we recognize that families, especially parents who are welcoming a child, need leave, but we also need to make sure that it is financially sufficient. The CFO made it really clear that the amount of money that is brought in has to equal the amount of money that is going out in terms of benefits, and we all have to be satisfied that that works so that the shortfall doesn't have to be made up.
Do you, as a matter of policy, support expanded paid leave?
I support paid parental leave, most especially. I am concerned, as the CFO outlined, that the way the council has presented it, that it's almost an unlimited number of occurrences that any single person could encounter.
Thanks, everyone.